Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is Janki Jeevan, belongs to Syed Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi. Today we will discuss about system approach in geography. Our learned objectives are to define and study system approach to understand application of system analysis in geographical studies, to know the contribution of scholars in system approach. Introduction: the system has been taken from a Greek word systema that refers to normal rules and laws governing its structure and behavior. In other words, system is termed as unified whole working body which consists of interdependently functioning elements. Element is very basic part of a unified whole. For example, human body is a biological system involving various elements or parts like cell, tissue, blood, bones, muscles. These elements are functioning interdependently. Likewise, the earth itself is a largest system which is made of lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere. Biosphere is the largest ecosystem made of interconnected subsystem, both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem with forest, grassland, desert, ocean, lake, pond, etc. These systems vary greatly in size and scale, ranging from macroscopic to macro, meso and macro. For instance, biosphere forms an ecosystem of macro size. Rivulets can form a macro one. System approach to geography. The concept of the system approach has fundamentally derived from the general system approach or theory. A biologist named Ludwig von Butterfly, who proposed general system theory through publication of his various research papers between 1920 and 1950s. This approach understood an intrinsic unification of different streams of sciences. The main proposition of general systems approach and theory were there is an isomorphism between mathematical construction in scientific discipline which can unify them, and interaction between an open and its environment occurred through regular flow of energy. This theory explains wholeness of a system and its growth, differentiation, hierarchy, order, control and competition in its environment. As per the above mentioned proposition, a general system theory describe an unified whole and function of interconnected elements. It is a high order generalization of multiplication of systems, their complex structure and functions. A general system may either be closed and open. However, majority of existing system in the nature are open type. As discussed earlier, the earth is being an open system, the function through exchange and flow of energy. Such exchange and flow of energy makes innumerable linkages or connection binding entities together into a system. These connections are the ways, paths through which matters, energy, information and persons go from one element to other. As very early, Ludwig von Butterfly had realized the importance of system approach to non-biological science. Over the period of time, geographers introduced system approach to various geographical studies. R.J. Chorley, Leopold and Landwehr Walderberg were some of the prominent geographers who made its application possible in geography. In fact, it was R.J. Chorley who would become the first geographer who brought out this approach and theory to the geography as a subject. His paper, Geomorphology and System Theory in 1962 focused on mainly application of concept of the open and closed system in geomorphology. In addition, Leopold and Landwehr used the concept of entropy and an equilibrium steady state in explanation of changing fuel system. Berry applied this concept of organization and information in the study of an individual city as a system and its functioning within the spatial system of the cities. Walderberg and Berry used system concept to explain central place theory in urban geography and river system in geomorphology. Caddy has tried to use this concept of spatial location of settlement. Even new geographers nowadays solve numerous spatial problems through a general system approach in both human and physical geography. They use systems as an analytical models to explain existing spatial pattern and interaction of geographical phenomena. For example, human geographers apply this model to study the pattern of human migration, dissemination of knowledge, idea and information. However, physical geography trusts this approach in understanding natural setup in which physical system operate. In short, researchers in both human and physical geography are attentive in recognize and forecasting the flow in physical and social and economic system. In other words, the system approach is used in variety of applied branches of geography like land use planning, natural resource management, watershed management, regional planning, management of the pollution may be water, air and soil and sound, environmental management, climate change, etc. These areas involve the study of elements and sub-elements of general environment like qualitative, quantitative, behavioral and social economic subsystem. This qualitative subsystem contains defined space like empty or filled spaces existing either in urban or rural areas, psychological space and their multiple uses. It includes a variety of concepts like capability, carrying capacity, stability and the economic subsystem comprises decision making processes based on well tested economic theories, whereas citizens, governments, civil administrations and civil society form the political subsystem which plays a vital role in geopolitics of a state or nation being studied in political geography. The behavioral subsystem consists of attitude, value, belief, customs and traditions which are integral part of the behavioral geography nowadays. The general system is composite system theory in which physical and social economic variables are intricately linked. Some of these variables may be measured quantifiably and now geographers use various tools like multiple variable analysis, principal component analysis, PCA, probability theory, chi-square and Gini coefficient to analyze data on geographical variable explaining interlinked between in a system. A system is a unified whole working body which consists of interdependently functioning elements. There are multiple variables or elements which form a system. System forming basic elements are as follows, like first of all like inputs and outputs. Every system is having some kind of inputs and outputs. Every system requires regular flow of inputs or for producing an amount of the output. Without inputs, no output can be produced in a system. For example, a fixed agriculture output needs a certain amount of inputs of seeds, water, fertilizer, labor, etc. in assumed constant external environment. Second element is processor. It is an operational component of a system transforming into input into output. Second is control. This is an important element which guides control the activity like processing inputs and producing output. Another element of the system is feedback. This is an important element of the system. It is an indication for characteristic amount of produced output against the set parameters and standard. Feedback is conducted on the principle of cybernetics which comprises communication and control. Feedback are two ways, one is positive, another is negative. It is good to have positive feedback which strengthens system performance. Negative feedbacks give you the wrong signal if the system is not functioning well. It makes available the controller with the information on action required for its correction. Second element of the system is is environment. Every system is operating in a unique environment. It is a broader framework often called supra environment, which affect the operating system and determining the root and rules of its functioning. Next element is borders and interfaces. These two are very important for delineating different part of the system, like component, process and interrelation between different elements in the particular environment. Another important topic related with the system is component of a system. There are so many components of the system in any particular geographical system. For example, components are like a set of elements, a set of functioning link, or a set of link relationship between the system and its external environment. All systems have internal and external environment. The external environment influence the internal environment of a system. Some systems are closed, some systems are open, as we discussed earlier also. A closed system can easily be created in science laboratory like control environment. For example, chemists conduct so many chemical tests in their lab, but such kind of total control is not possible in open environment or like agriculture field, like forest area. But in open environment like agriculture land, some elements can be partially controlled, and such partially control environment are great importance for semi-scientific experiment aiming at the socio-economic development. This is to be understood with this example. If the farmer wants to know the impacts of certain inputs on a crop production, impacts of inputs like fertilizer, pesticides, high yield seeds, labor on the crop production can be known by controlling and regulating inputs in the farm. With above discussion, we can find certain characteristics which can be summarized as follows. A system is a well organized and integrated ideal body. A system has multiple elements and components. Components of a system are interdependently functioning. A system has pattern of structure and behavior. It is often at the balancing and enduring state. A system it's affected by its internal and external environment. They are either closed or open. Majority of the systems are basically open in geographical environment. Now we will discuss about system and its essential feature. Ever mentioned basic characteristics exhibit some of the interlinked essential feature of a system. First of all, the first essential feature is environment, another is behavior, third one is state, another is organization and information, and its structure is the last component, and the environment is a suprastructure in which any system operates. There are countless systems and their subsystems are working in our environment. Environment is classified as a physical environment, socio-cultural environment, political environment. In fact, each system has its own physical, social, economic environment that affect the performance of that system positively or negatively. For example, farmland is a system and its good agriculture productivity depends upon the conducive physical and socio-economic environment. Another component of the system is behavior. It refers to all dynamic activity of a system like introduction of a new stimuli, flow and responses, inputs and outputs, etc. It studies the flow of energy between elements of a system, between a system and another system. Functions within a system is called internal behavior, and outside of a system is called external behavior. Internal and external behavior are closely interlinked. For example, an element of a system is a part of external environment. Change in external environment will bring some of the behavioral change in one element, and change in one element will affect all interconnected elements of a system. Such behavioral change can be explained by its flow from inputs, simple stimulus, to the output, that is response, as that is mentioned in picture number 1 or figure number 1. Now we will actually discuss about like how the system is having the stimulus and input, and this figure explains the how any system is basically having the stimuli and changing and giving the output in a form of any geographical output like that. Such behavioral change can be explained by its flow from the inputs as simple stimuli to the output as a response. For example, in Indian economy, if consumption or demand rises due to the home consumption or because of the export, that works as stimuli for the higher production of the particular goods and the services in an Indian economy. Each system wants to achieve its state of equilibrium. Slight change in one element of system disturb its equilibrium. A disturbed system may experience some morphogenesis to gain complex level of equilibrium. Equilibrium denotes maintaining a kind of balance in a system. There are two types of equilibrium, namely stable and dynamic. The stable equilibrium includes homeostatic state and steady state. A homeostatic system is often involved in some activity, but it does not modify the balance amongst its component. A steady state system seems to be stable, but it alters the balance between different components systematically. Another is dynamic type of equilibrium denotes a process by which a small disturbance in one part causes constant change in the entire system. Another point is very important, that is organization and information. Normally a system is well organized, and that is why one can predict possible amount of change in all set of element of a system. If changes occur in one an element is known, but such accurate prediction is not possible if the system is not organized. The information is an indication on how much a system is organized. Good information means well organized system. In addition, the word entropy and negatropy are associated with organization and information. Changing level of energy in a system creates disorder, hence disorganizing the system. In other words, entropy, a quantity of unavailable energy. So, disorder in a system. In the contrary, the negative entropy or negatropy on other hand is a measure of order in a system. Closed system may have highest entropy, hence making a system inactive. While interacting with the environment, it is good for open system to have optimum level of entropy, creating a more complex system in geographical environment. Other essential feature is structure. Structure of a system depends upon how elements and components of a system is arranged and interlinked. Therefore, structure may vary in terms of its size and shape. Structure could be hierarchical or parallel. For example, Walter Casteller's central place theory, settlements are hierarchically arranged in an urban system. Large urban cities in few number lies at the top order and the small cities in large number at the bottom, as we can see in picture or figure 2. Another important aspect of the system is a relationship between different elements and the components, and there are so many common relationship. The link of elements shape the component structure of a system, and different pattern of the links between elements form a variety of relationship. Some of the most important relationships are being illustrated through the figure number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First is cause and effect relationship. There is this is basically simplest relationship, which is also called series relationship, in which elements are connected by unalterable link. For example, we can see that cause and effect relationship in figure number 3. For instance, rainfall may cause soil erosion, but the soil erosion does not have direct impact on the rainfall. Another relationship is parallel relationship. When two elements are affected, third element making the relationship called parallel one. For example, rainfall and temperature affect the vegetation, and vegetation in turn directly, indirectly affect the amount of rainfall and local temperature. That can be seen in the picture number 4. The next is feedback relationship. This is newly introduced relationship in the analytical structure. Two elements get mutually affected. For example, farmers grow pulses, leguminous plants which enriches nitrogenous fertilizer in the soil, and in turn production of the pulses increases because of the enriched soil. And the next this feedback relationship can be seen in the picture number or figure number 5. Another relationship is called simple compound relationship. In simple compound relationship, components are modified by itself and influenced by a set of other external component. Both processes operate simultaneously. For example, industries in India are removing their old technologies and adopting new foreign technologies to increase low production in competitive global market. For example, this relationship can be seen in the picture number 6. The next relationship is compound relationship. Compound relationship. This is the most this is the most complex relation of the element in which elements of the internal and external environment is mutually affected and influenced each other. In our environment, all real systems have complex compound relationship amongst their elements and the components. Our ecosystem is the best example of complex compound relationship, which is very difficult to interpret. This can be seen in the picture number 7. And the next is classification of a system. That is very important point and very important topic in the system. Classification of the system. On the basis of above mentioned relationship, salient features and the characteristics, system can be classified as homeostatic, dynamic, self-regulatory, adaptive, control systems, etc. Homeostatic system is another system. A constant balance maintained in a system is named as homeostatic system. Such system by its constant operating environment restore its equilibrium or steady state behavior. If it faces some kind of external intervention, as per its nature, it resists an alternation which caused by internal environment, but if it faces new changes, its processor restored previous equilibrium or steady state. There are innumerable homeostatic system in our environment. For example, human body is homeostatic system that maintains its equilibrium in its temperature at about 98.2 degree Celsius temporarily. It might change, but body again restored equilibrium in its temperature. In geography, cycle of erosion is also a homeostatic system in which if any element like amount of the water, slope, suspended particle, etc. changes, the entire system gets affected with certain changes. Cycle again maintain steady state. Another system is adaptive system. Such system has adaptive capacity to changing external environment. Its some characteristics are similar to homeostatic system. This system sustain constant operating environment to achieve desired state, which has been emerged because of certain changes in external environment. For example, our socio-economic systems are adaptive to climate change. Another system type is dynamic system. It is different from both homeostatic and adaptive systems, which experience some changes over the period of time in achieving steady state or desired state. Dynamic system shows a chain of continuous change along with a line of behavior in the entire system over the period of time. For example, vicious cycle of poverty and cumulative causation as economic growth model. Another type of system is control system. It is a system in which element or inputs can be regulated to achieve goal and result. As previously discussed, such kind of system lies in closed environment like laboratories. For example, scientists, doctor, chemists conduct experiment to assess impact of the certain chemicals or medicine on animals or human bodies in a control environment. In the study of system engineering and cybernetics, that is the study of communication and control mechanism in machine and living being, and that partially control system are of great importance for human being, and even in geographical subject matter like resource management, regional and economic planning, partially controlled system can be created and applied. For example, economically backward region can be developed by pushing huge investment in infrastructure, hence creating employment opportunity for local people. In conclusion, the system approach and its analysis offer simplified theoretical and conceptual framework to study subject matter of geography like study of landforms, river system, ecosystem, regional and economic planning, social and economic development, etc. Geographer can apply this approach in 3 stages of the research like descriptive, analytical, that is explaining and seeking, governing natural laws and understanding the order in real world, and predictive, how to existing order are likely to change in future. This is very important now to discuss advantage and disadvantage of the system approach and its application in geography. The application of the system and analysis in geographical studies has various pros and cons. It discloses inherent information on current state, structure, dynamic behavior of various geographical system. Our open existing environment is so complex that it goes beyond our understanding. Therefore, the system approach simplify existing environment in order to make it easy for the student to understand. In other words, it is a technical tool to comprehend interaction between elements of complex geographical structure in simplified way. It also helps us to develop a variety of abstract geographical theories. More importantly, its mathematical language like geometry, probability theory are widely used in solving numerous geographical problems like rising pollution, prediction, climate change, and understanding its affecting factors. Despite these advantages, this approach is criticized because of overemphasis on positivism and quantification of social science and avoiding the normal values like beliefs, attitude, desire, hopes, fears, etc. Nevertheless, the system is still relevant in geography. Nowadays, in geography, system approach is widely used in different part of the world. Thank you.